big welcome back to everybody out there listening to the Feels podcast. And this is one of our Feels sessions, which are very special episodes that we do on an ad hoc basis whenever it gets sent to us from the universe. And this is a new series that we've started called the Stack Series. Now, we're spotlighting books we love, and we can't stop recommending on the Your Happy Hour podcast. And this series features new books and emerging authors sharing their stories, their inspirations, their journeys. And we have a very special episode today. We get to celebrate a launch of a new book into this world. And the author behind the book, a really, really big welcome to you, Shayra Rashaba. And your book is called From the Inside Out, a roadmap for cultivating 5D living. So I'm really excited to delve into this. It's been amazing to get to know you behind the scenes. But firstly, just a really big welcome to the Feel Space and the Your Happy Hour Stack series.
Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure to be here. Yes, I feel like I'm sitting with an old friend, and we have had so many wonderful conversations leading up to this. So it's wonderful to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. And I'm so excited because your book really resonates with me. It's been an interesting journey for myself in my life. And I feel like when I first got in contact with you, I was like, this is exactly what I needed, which is the universe always knows, right? But I just want to take a moment for you to first tell us a little bit about who you are. And I mean, I know, but for the audience out there, how you got to where you are today, what first sparked the idea for the book?
Well, I'm a 71-year-old grandma, social worker. I've been a social worker for the better part of my life, in the trenches. And working in the field of behavioral health, because mental health challenges kind of run in our family and a lot of families out there. So I kind of made a commitment early on to hopefully make a difference. And that's kind of how the book got started. Okay. As I look back now, I see it's been developing, over the years. Through my own experiences in healing. And so it's been a while coming, your debut book at, 71 years of age, but hey, you know, um, so my work in the social work field, working with children, working with trauma, I've kind of developed certain practices over time, particularly deep breathing. People don't really understand how powerful deep breathing is. It's very inexpensive. We certainly don't have to pay money, but it has it's powerful. It impacts your whole being, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, excellent for your nervous system. We all need that these days. So, yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've used it in my practices. I used to do a lot of African dance and drumming, and used to go around, had a group, we went around all over Ohio, colleges, schools, daycares, teaching the culture and the principles behind the culture, and kind of helping people come back into, their roots and understanding of the power of our culture, and sharing that culture with everyone, not just us, but us for uplifting and remembering, who the heck we are upon this planet. And so that's what the work is all about, really, and that's what the book is all about, learning how to tune out and to tap in, you know. We've been caught up in such a rat race, with these systems, you know, all of them controlling our lives. You know, we're looking all outside of ourselves for direction, for healing, for everything. When everything it starts within, you know. But saying that is so trite. You know, well, how do you go within? What do you mean go within? You know, I've been on a few TikTok live uh, video shows um, this year, past year, and you know, talking aloud about, you know, this shift that we're in, and you know what we need to do, and going in, and the power. And they're like, "What power? What are you talking about? Going within? What does that mean?" You know, because we've never been really taught that. You know, but that's what time it is, and that's what 5D living is. You know, it's not a physical thing. It's a energetic frequency kind of thing, you know, and it's from the inside. You've got to tap in. So the book is just giving little principles on how to do that, you know, and yeah. So I'm talking a
That. Yeah,
lot.
that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I think you're taking us on the journey already here. And I agree. And I feel like a lot of what we're going through in the world is exactly that. People are um, learning that the outside is not really serving us as much as we thought. It's just an illusion and for all practical purposes. And our energy is really just reflecting back to us. So that means we have to go inside. And yeah, I agree. Like sometimes if you don't spend the time, it does feel a bit elusive. Like what is inside me? And you know, in my heart, okay, yes, but that's still in my body. Like so, it's still physical, but no. So I think it's breath work has really been amazing for me too. But I just want to pause there. I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking this question.
Mhm.
Your book is a roadmap to 5D living, but what is to you 3D living, 4D living, 5D living? Like, what does that mean?
um, Shifts in energy, shifts in thinking, shifts in consciousness. Um, and in shifting, it's a growth, it's a development, it's a, you know, a movement, you know, from one level of consciousness to another. You know, it's not so much a physical thing. It is, you know, you do see physical manifestations of it, of course, but it's more of a energetic thing. And I think the more that we get comfortable with the idea that everything, everything is energy, everything is in this constant dance, you know, there's stuff going on in that inner world of ours that we need to get kind of comfortable with. You know, that darkness, we came from darkness, big primordial mama earth, you know, we got to get back to that reality as well. You know, the matriarchal. Okay, that's part of this 3D, 4D, you know, and beyond. Okay, we're not stopping at 5D, you know, and beyond. But yeah, getting out of that patriarchal, selfish, individual, no cooperation, greed, selfishness, you know, into more of a collective. I'm here because you are. You are because I am. We are one. We are connected. There's nothing separating us but our minds, you know? And that's how we come together. That's how we change the dynamic. That's how we shift into these dimensions that we're talking about. We're changing our minds. We're changing our hearts. Okay. Because it starts in the heart. The heart is more powerful than the mind. They don't teach us that either. But that's the truth of the matter. We need to go deep into the heart
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Mm. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I think it's also when I realized that, wow, everything is just energy. Energy exists, it's infinite. It's not like we're in lack, like we would think we are, or that we can't transmute and change energy from one thing to another. We can. We're such divinely powerful beings. And I also want everyone to remember that, you know. So if you're listening, tap into that amazing power that you have.
Yes.
And talking about that, I mean, we all do still go through challenges because
Oh
that's
yeah.
being human. Like, I think I think a lot of people might think that 5D living or abundant living is just like smooth sailing, but that's not the case. When you go and do the inner work, it's really tough, because you have to get over yourself. You have to kind of shed the skin and conditioning. So, what's been for you the hardest part in your journey in getting to a place of embracing that?
You know, the most difficult and still, you know, I'm still becoming. Okay. I have not arrived. We are all evolving, and that is, I think, how it should be, But I think the most difficult uh, thing, that challenge for me, has been this concept of me taking responsibility for my own life, for my own journey, for my own destiny. You know, me understanding that the God is within, okay? Without, but within, okay? That it starts with me. That higher voice, like if we would all, like, just be quiet, okay? And say the words inside of our minds. No verbal, just I am. Say that inside yourself. Who said that? That's your highest self. That's the God within each and every one of us. That's the spark, the ray from the all, that we each have. And so going within and trying to tap into that, just as you said, you just got through saying something very, very crucial and important, that going within involves letting go of everything we ever thought we knew, because everything was a lie, an illusion. What they said was up was really down. What they said was good was really bad. What they said was bad was really the most powerful stuff. I'm about to cuss. On the planet. And so, but getting back to that challenge, um, was for me realizing that if I want anything out in my outer environment to change, okay, I don't like this. This is not going right. Oh my God. You know, I have to change what's in me. Okay. I'm drawing some of that stuff to me by my own thoughts, by my own limiting beliefs. Okay. By all that stuff we learned from K through whatever, all the outside influences, all the experiences, that we went through, all of that we created. That's sometimes hard to accept, okay? But that is so freaking powerful once we can grab hold to that and understand. The power is within. So it's some stuff I gotta let go of. It's some people I gotta let go of. I gotta come into a shell maybe of some isolation so that I'm not, influenced by this outside realm. I'm beginning to hear the voice within me, trusting it, knowing that I know that I know. That's my highest self. That's me. That's the real me. That's the eternal that never dies. Yeah.
Oh,
Once we grab onto that,
yeah.
oh, we can soar, baby.
I love that. Yeah. And I love how you kind of, moving around and for those just listening to the audio, just
I'm a
having a little
drama
dance
queen.
here. But it is, life is a dance. We're dancing too little, in my opinion. We're moving too little. We're very stagnant in a lot of ways. But what I love about what you're saying is that I feel like when one of us goes within and we do the hard work and we then raise our frequency to a place where we can say, I am abundance, I am love, I am that I am. You don't have to actually attach anything to it, it's just that you are. You automatically raise the frequency collectively, and everyone else can feel that frequency, and thereby you changing the world. Because I think a lot of us are trying to change the world in other ways, which is nothing wrong with that. I've done my fair share of pleasing and whatever else, and feeling the burden of the world on my shoulders. But it took me a while to realize like it came from within. And like you say, accountability is the hardest thing because we're so used to blaming other people and the environment and the childhood and whatever
It's
else.
so easy to
Yeah.
blame everybody else, you
I
know.
know, I know. It's responsibility and accountability, I think, is one of the big parts of trusting yourself. It's kind of you have to foster that. So I really think that's amazing. And so, when you were writing the book, what did that feel like for you? Like, what was the experience like, being able to translate your experience into words?
I felt I felt like there was this stuff that was welling up inside of me that I had that's been building up inside that just, you know, I went through a divorce. Okay. I left uh, a 16-year marriage. Um, and that marriage was, I mean, there were good things, of course. Okay. But it was steeped in religiosity, Islam. Okay. And it started out pretty good, but then, I found it kind of confining and I, I felt stifled. Okay. And I was beginning to see a pattern of me diminishing myself, me holding back, me, letting and doing, you know, for everyone and and seeing myself like just, wither away. And I kind of had, I don't know, well, I do know, but a catalyst and boom, I left. I left everything. I left the house, you know, I left clothes, all my regalia, African artifacts, all my books, my treasures, my books, just the clothes on my back, girl. I'm out, okay? And I didn't look back. And I found myself through the grace of a dear friend and ex husband, married a few times,
It happens.
but we've always been able to remain on point. And we have a beautiful daughter together and grandchildren together. So, but he offered me this space. I'm in an 8 by 10 room, and it'll be 2 years now in May, upcoming. But in this isolation, okay, away from all of that dogma and indoctrination and stifling death, okay, this book just came pouring. out of me, you know. And it was like, now or never. Get it done. Get it done. Do it, you know. So, in the midst of holding down a job and being in this room, I did it.
I'm really, really happy you did, and I'm so happy you took the leap, you know, to understand again what freedom is, like true freedom and within yourself. I think sometimes it takes going through those moments of not feeling freedom to really understand where to go and find it, you know, within yourself, and to honor who you are, you know, as a human being. And nobody can keep you down, you know, put you in the corner. So I'm really, really happy that you did and that you poured your heart into sharing this with the world. It's so, so important. And I think especially that it's a roadmap and a guide, because a lot of books might explain somebody else's experience, or, you know, yeah, take you on a bit of a journey of understanding the terminology. But if there's a practical way to do things, that's like, we all need a roadmap, you know, we all need to get from A to B. So, and sometimes you kind of go down the windy road and you're like,
Oh,
oh,
it's
okay, actually,
always,
it
you
was just
know,
down the road. It was really easy.
just like water.
Yeah.
But the good thing about, I did a meditation on water, and it was visual. I went to one of the natural parks that I just love, and just watching the flow of the water, and how the water, you know, it can be calm, it can be raging, it can be all of that, but how it adapts, you know, to whatever obstacles, you know. I don't think the water even thinks of them as obstacles. It just flows, you know, and how we need to kind of be more like water.
Mm, I
I
love
mean, there's a time to rage. Don't get it twisted. The yin and the yang. I mean, you
it.
know, people want to say, oh, it's all flowers and lily pads. No,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to have moments.
Mm.
It's the ebb and the flow.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that analogy, and I think it's something, yeah, we kind of deny and resist ourselves that flow, yet we yearn for it so much, and it's kind of this weird, this weird, like, you know, conflict that we have within ourselves, that we almost don't, we love being human, but we also don't want to be human, you know. It's like everything about who we are, we criticize and we don't love it as much. I feel like if there's more love and compassion, we would enter 5D living in a quicker way, like you say, through the heart.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like for you now? How's it changed your life since you've written the book?
It's been crazy. I lost my son
I'm so sorry.
right after I wrote the book, and had, uh, you know, started the publishing process. He came home from prison, and I thought everything was going to be good this time. He had a plan, you know, and he was talking like, you know, and I could tell he'd been studying, and we had so many wonderful conversations. I'm so thankful, you know, that we had those, because I really saw a new, fresh, well, not new, because I knew come from me, you got to have something in them, you know, but seeing it emerge, you know, seeing it come out, and but you know, the life catches up with you, you know, and it is what it is. It was very tragic. He was murdered, shot. Um, this violence, you know, that you know, kind of touched me. I had some friends that had experienced it, and you know, my heart kind of went out. But I never really experienced it to know what it's like to lose a child. You know, you think you're going to be the one, not them. But as it turns out, you know, it happens. So, um, but that was a powerful lesson for me too. You know, it helped me to really understand this eternal energy, you know. And while I'm mourning him here in the 3D, I'm also feeling him, you know. All around me, there's moments where I could almost like reach out and touch him, you know. I have this thing on my phone where it, gives me different pictures, and I was waking up to his picture almost every morning, so it was like him saying, "Hey, Ma." Yeah, so it's so that has been an interesting dynamic, of the journey. In the midst of that, I was also gifted a house by my adopted daughter. Um, who knew, um, we're still fixing on the house, and it's been sitting for like 3 years, so it's all kind of drama going on in this house, electrical, plumbing, but hopefully in this year I'll be in my new vibration with greenery all around me, nature, trees, I can grow the herbs I want to grow, and the plants and flowers, just get back into my element that I've been away from so long.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And it's funny what twists and turns life take, And like, firstly, I'm so sorry about your son, and it's a sadness that I can't imagine, because I'm not in that position of having kids yet. But I find that really interesting as well for the journey that you've walked, and amidst all your kind of celebration of entering this 5D living, writing this book, sharing that with the world, also experiencing your humanness, like you said, in that. And it's beautiful to have that experience too, as hard as it is as a human. And then having more joy come your way with your home, which is amazing. So I can't wait for you to be in the greenery and in the new vibration, because a home space, I realized, is so important. Like, it's your sanctuary. It's where you
Yes.
do the quiet work. It's where you get to rest. And I know I'm so protective over my space as well. And I feel like the more you do that work, the more you do end up spending quite a lot of time by yourself,
Hmm.
which I think at some point in the olden days were very kind of frowned upon, but more and more people are, I notice, really, really happy to kind of be by themselves, and not
Hmm.
necessarily from an individualistic perspective, just from a appreciating their own energy perspective. Yeah.
That groundedness that we, you know. Another thing I want to really talk about too, Nicole, in terms of what this year is kind of what I'm learning.
Mm.
I'm learning a lot about transmuting energy, okay? And the power we have to transmute energy, transmute grief into purpose, transmute a limiting belief into expansion and freedom, and even more defined purpose, trans being able to transmute negativity, you know into more of an energy of love, more of an energy of understanding, of cooperation, communication. That's always been a difficult one for me. I communicate on the pen, writing stuff, thinking stuff, but getting it out has all, doing this is a challenge, but I've been kind of facing my fears, going on TikTok and got a channel on trying to, because sources saying, you got to get out there, quit hiding, people need to hear you and see you. Get your ass out there, okay? Get up, you know.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I've grown quite comfortable in this little space, okay? And Source is saying it's time for you to get out, you know. So I'm embarking on that. I'm entering a new phase of getting myself out, you know, speaking my truth.
I love that. I love that. And with that, like you say, transmuting energy from one thing to another. And it's so important. I was talking about this on the first episode of the Stack series as well with a gentleman, Todd, who also is all about transmuting energy and channeling energy. And he was also, I was saying to him, it just doesn't suit us to hide. It doesn't suit us as a humankind to hide ourselves. So I love that you're doing that. I love that you're speaking out, and you're doing such a great job coming on here and being able to share with us, and especially your beautiful smile and energy and light that you give. And thank you for that. And I'm really interested in this transmutation of energy, and I've never really thought about it in terms of feelings, like you mentioned now, from one feeling to another. Because sometimes when you think of transmutation, it's like alchemy, you have to change one crystal's formation into another crystal formation, but it's not really what humanness is about, So you've opened up another world for me to think about transmutation and how we change the energy within ourselves, and then other people get to notice that and be inspired to do the same. So it's really, really interesting.
And so the book is not like this roadmap of boom, boom, boom. It's you pick, you choose what modality, you try whatever you feel resonated what feels. If you feel it, you know it. Okay, that was one of my things I used to say back in the day. Didn't even really understand the fullness of it like I do now. When you feel it, you know that sucker, okay? So, yeah. And that's all part of the transmuting of energy, but we all have that power. We all have it, at whatever level or degree. It's in your DNA. It's in your bones. It's in your blood. It's in there. Okay.
I love that.
You just got to tap in.
Yeah.
And the book is just showing you different ways. Some people resonate with sound more so. For me, everything started with the breath. There's so much power in that breath. I learned to direct that breath to my knee arthritis going on. Boom, it's putting energy on that knee. I'm telling that knee. I'm talking to the cells. I'm talking to the mitochondria. I'm talking to it all. The whole being. And this is our temple. This is our vessel. There's water running and blood running all through it. Currents, energy, okay, that we direct by our thought, by our intentions. We got to learn to be more intentional too. That's another thing I'm learning.
Me too. And I love that you're talking about that. I think it's like they talk about, in certain religions, like the breath of life. And I've never really thought about the words, but it's so true. It's like we're breathing a sense of living back into certain things. And I've really been thinking a lot about how we use our bodies and, like you say, the energy flow, light and color, and becoming a light body, being able to see that we are this beautiful rainbow colored light. We are in that. And at any point in time, we can call in that light energy and like you say, redirect that with our breath to a place. So it's so, so powerful. And one thing that's interesting for me is that if you do that, but you haven't shed the skin, let's call it the skin, that you haven't shed the things that are blocking generational trauma,
It could
whatever
be
it might be,
dimensional. It could
it can
be.
distort the light, right? And so,
You really can't do it
yeah, you have to let
until you
go.
shed it.
Yeah.
You really have to do the shadow work. You
Mm,
really gotta let go, throw out,
mm,
all that crap
mm,
that we were taught.
mm.
Good intentions, but it was some
Yeah,
crap, okay?
yeah,
We
yeah.
got to throw it all out. And that's how you go within, you
Mm,
know. And you don't just throw it all out, it's a process.
mm,
It
mm.
doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, but yeah, the shadow work. And the shadow work never stops, okay? I'm fine. Just the other day, okay, I found myself, oh, girl, you got to let go of, You think you think you good. You wrote a book, you got, girl, you better let that go. You can't go into 26 with that bull crap,
Mm,
girl.
yeah.
Let it go. Still, you're always going to find things that,
Mm,
you know, there's always stuff. But as long as you're aware
yeah. I think
and
that's
you
the first step.
acknowledge,
Mm,
oh, it's some so creeping up. Okay, I
mm.
got you, you know, and you alchemize it, you reframe it, do what you do the work. The
Mm,
work is a lifetime.
mm, mm. Yeah, and it feels long in that, but it's short and short-lived, and it's being able to also, like you say, I think when you say let it go, I've learned now, and sorry, mom, but I had this thing recently where I had these feelings, and I was so scared about this thing. And I needed to talk about it, and I said to her, yeah, I'm feeling these feelings, but like I have to work through it because I need to go on with my team, and I can't be harboring this. And she was like, you can bulldoze those feelings, and I was like, I don't think that's the best advice. But it really showed me that I then sat back and I honored the feelings. I spoke to my team member. She probably doesn't even remember this. And I just said, this is how I feel. I can't believe this is coming up for me now that we're doing this. And it was like it evaporated and it went
hmm
away. And I think it's like we are so not conditioned to honor and just feel the feeling and then let it go. It's like I'm not allowed to feel this feeling. Like you say, but the feeling allows you the transmutation. And so that's really beautiful. And I know you also wrote or compiled a journal because
Oh
I think
yeah,
forgiveness is really a big part of that. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
yeah. Forgiveness. That was part of my shadow work.
Mm.
Okay, forgiving, and mostly forgiving myself. Okay,
Mm.
um, I'm kind of hard on myself. All right, I get, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, or oh, I thought you evolved from that, or whatever, girl. Yeah, and so I am. I'm really forgiveness is just something that I think is a powerful thing and so important in doing the shadow work and doing the letting go, because, we don't realize we sign contracts, okay? Either in past lives or even a marriage is a contract, you know. Your social security card is a contract. Your birth certificate. I mean, we've signed contracts, all throughout our lives, whether we wanted to, whether, just living our lives. And some of those contracts have energy on them, you know. We sign contracts coming in to this planet, coming in from the womb, you know. Um, we have carried baggage, generational baggage, that we're not even many of us aware of. Many of us in this work that we're doing, this shadowing, that is the most powerful thing we can do, because it's not only helping us, our families, it's helping the entire lineage, the ancestors who were they couldn't make this growth, make this, like we have the opportunity right now in this Aquarius age to do that, to know that we know, this is something they've wanted for us. They're up there engineering and, boom, boom, helping, guiding, strengthening us. They're there. They ain't going nowhere, you know? And so I encourage everybody to begin that journey of forgiveness. It's a difficult, you know. People have been 1,000% wrong in our lives, have done some betraying, some, selfish, ugh, just damaging stuff, traumatic experiences. We've all been through some stuff living on this planet, And so we all kind of need to purge and heal, forgive those people, not for them, but for us. So we can let it go, so we can open up the doorway for all the beauty that's just waiting, just like, let it go so we can get in there. Okay? For us to blossom
Yeah.
and grow.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. And sometimes writing that down, we can't always speak it out. But sometimes we can write a letter to that person and put it out there energetically. I forgive you and I let you go. I thank you for the lessons that you taught me. And now I'm strong enough I can let you go. Mwah. Bye. You know?
Yeah, I do know. And it's I I I think we do that too little, and I love that you're encouraging everyone that's listening out there, our community. Yeah, write it down. Let 2026 be the year that you shed the things that you no longer need to hold on to. And
Old
forgiveness,
skin.
also, the other side of the coin of forgiveness is accountability, because you chose, like you said, those contracts, you chose them. And so that really does start with yourself and saying, okay, maybe I made certain decisions that worked out XYZ. Okay, maybe I'll make different decisions in the future, but at least it's still my choice, and I've learned something, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that, and I know something else that we can be excited about from you is you spoke about a website coming. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, very excited to share in that going forward.
Yeah, shirashealing.org.
Okay.
And that's the website. I'm doing meditations on the website. I'm helping people kind of create their own kind of spiritual regimen. I'm opening up to do workshops for individuals, for groups, working from 3D into 5D, uh, using some of those modalities and practices and whatnot. Um, and I'm going to be doing blogs or vlogs, or what's the new terminology? I don't know. But I'm going to be doing those. So videos, giving out messages, videos on meditation, videos on just talking about stuff. I'm also working on an oracle deck. So I'm beginning to do readings. So I'll be doing readings on my channels as well, for the collective, not for individual stuff, just for stuff that's going on in this 3D that we need to be, aware of. And, um, knowledgeable about, and things spiritual, and just experiences, whatever, that can help us on this journey that we're all in together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for that. And especially the oracle readings. I can't wait. I love those decks, and I love also listening to a lot of that. It helps, gives me comfort in a lot of ways, and opens up perspective. So thank you for the work that you do, and for the book you've published, and
Thank
just for
you.
being open and honest in so many ways today in this chat. It's just, I know a lot of people are going to be listening and being able to resonate with your story and find inspiration and healing through it too. So thank you for that. And I'm very, very excited to share this with the world.
Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to show my face and get through that comfort zone and face my fears and speak my truth, and giving me that avenue to begin to do that for the world. Yeah.
With pleasure and light and love. So
Back at you.
thank you.